Okay, now inside the jet draw function, below the nose x and nose y, we want to type in this dot draw all bullets, which is the function we just created right here. And basically, it's going to draw all the bullets that we are currently shooting, basically. Otherwise, their x value is below 0, and they're not going to be drawn at all to save power. Alright, so we got that. Let's see. Next, we need to create another new function in the jet area. So I'm going to be lazy and copy this prototype method. And instead of draw all bullets, we want to, well, first of all, get rid of this. Instead of draw all bullets, we want to type in check shooting. Just like that. Now inside of here, we want an if statement. And later on, we're going to add an else statement. But for now, let's do the if statement. Now, this check shooting, we are going to put into the draw method. So before the draw all bullets, let's type in this dot check. Actually, even before. No, right there. We want that. This dot check shooting. This line is going to call the function that we're creating right now. It's going to check to see if we have the space bar down, which means we're trying to shoot a bullet. To check if we have the space bar down, we have a variable up here, is space bar, which equals false at the start. But later down, in our check key down function, we set is space bar to true, which means we're trying to shoot a bullet. So we come back up here to our check shooting function, and we say if this dot is spacebar equals true. So if it equals true, we are going to do some stuff in here. Now there's a little shortcut here, guys. Instead of putting equals true, when you have a variable such as this spacebar, which is either true or false, you can get rid of this basically by putting this dot is spacebar by itself. That assumes that it's going to be, well, if it's true. This means that we want it to happen when it's true. However, if we put an exclamation mark in front of this, that means the same thing. I believe I went over this before, but an exclamation mark means the same thing as equals false. So just a shortcut to equals true, just put this dot is spacebar, since it's like that, and it's going to work. Okay, so inside of here, we want to put some stuff. Now, first of all, we want to, before we do this, we need to do another bullet function, actually. The bullet fire function. So inside of here, we're going to say, let's copy it right here. And let's get rid of the inside stuff. And instead of draw, we're going to say fire. This is the bullet fire function. Okay, so inside the bullet fire function, all we're going to do when we fire a bullet, we're going to tell these these bullets over here to set their draw X and draw Y values to the value of the nose X and the nose Y of the jet. That's what the fire method is going to do right here. Now, there's a little catch here, kind of, not really, but I'm going to teach you guys a little trick in a way. This dot draw Y. So they are going to both equal to the nose X and the nose Y of the jet. Now, if we go back up to this dot is spacebar, basically, I'm just going to give you an example. Let's just say bullet 1. We're not going to write anything like bullet 1. We're going to do it a different way, but let's just say bullet 1, fire. We are going to do, when creating an object, you want it to be as reusable as possible. We could just put jet1.noseX right here and jet1.noseY right here. That then makes the bullet function, or the bullet object, not very reusable for, say, an enemy jet, because we don't want enemy jet bullets to start at the nose of the jet 1 and the nose of the jet Y, or nose of jet 1. We don't want that. That's why, to make it reusable, we are going to pass in these values as parameters, so that no matter what thing calls bullet, we're going to tell it what X to use and what Y. So, for example, instead up here, we would just put this dot draw, this dot nose X, and this dot, let's do this again, dot nose Y. Basically, we're passing two parameters into the fire function. Now, to accept those parameters, we need to put them in here, and we're going to call them start X and start Y, because that's where the bullet is actually going to start at when it gets fired. So all we do is just this, start X and start Y. Well, let's put a Y. There we go. Basically, when we tell a bullet to fire, we're going to say use the X position of my nose, the jet 1's nose, and use the Y position of my nose for the jet 1. It's going to pass in this function. It's going to say, these are the two parameters that we are allowing, that the bullet function fire is allowing. And we're going to set the bullets draw X and the bullets draw Y to the X of whatever it tells us to, and the Y of whatever it tells us to, based on what we passed into it, which is nose X and nose Y in this case. That's what that means. Alright, so we have the fire function done, and we have the bullets draw, that's done. The bullet's done. Okay, now we gotta come back up here, we gotta fix some of this. We don't want bullet 1, that's not good. What we gotta do, since, if you guys remember, bullets is our list up here, and we can reference it with the keyword this, dot bullets. Now we need to put in a value in here. Now this value, I'll show you guys actually I'll show that first. So if you guys remember, this is going to be a longer tutorial, by the way. It's a big one. But we're almost done, so that's good. Okay, so if you guys remember, the positioning for a list starts at 0, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Our current bullet is going to be the 0 position in the list of bullets. That's the first bullet in the list, is the 0. That's why we set current bullet to 0 at the start. Now, basically, when we fire a bullet, we want to fire the current bullet. And we have to put this in front of that. We want to fire this dot current bullet. Now, the thing is, though, after we fire the current bullet, our current bullet has to increase so that we have the next bullet ready, which would be the second bullet, which is the first position. Now all you really need to do is just put current bullet plus plus, because this increases the current bullet value by 1. So say we fire the first bullet, the 0 position, our next bullet is going to be 0 plus plus, which would be equal to 1. The next time we call bullet fire, it's going to fire the second bullet, which is the first position. That's what this variable will be doing in this function right here. And you know what? I just thought of a slightly better way. Let's get rid of this dot current bullet equals 0. Not slightly better really, but more specific. I don't know. It's more local instead of global. Let's just put current bullet. You know what? That was a bad idea. Ignore what I just did. Let's put it back there. This dot current bullet. Good. Alright, let's just keep it the way I had it. Okay, so current bullet plus plus. Now, let's just say, well, let's say we spawn 5 bullets off the start. We still have to get into that, but let's say we spawn 5 bullets. When we get to the 5th bullet, that is gonna be, well, that means we've ran out of bullets. And since we want to reuse our bullets, what we have to do is make a one-line if statement here. And inside the if statement, we need to tell when this dot current bullet is more than or equal to this dot bullets dot length, which is the length of the bullets list, which is basically the number of bullets we have in our game. So if current bullet is more than or equal to the total amount of bullets, then we need to set current bullet back to 0 so that we can restart the whole process of reusing the bullets all over again, just like that. So we now saved it, and let's test. I don't think. Well, let's just refresh our page and see what we have here. If I type in jet1, this is going to return the object. And if I come down here, maybe up here a bit, we have bullets. And see, it's an array with 0 items in it. What we need to do now is fill up our bullets list, similar to how when our game starts, we spawn 5 enemies right off the bat so that they're ready to use. But in this case, when we first create our jet object, we can actually put a for loop in here that is similar to the spawn enemy for loop right here. I'm actually just going to copy it to show you how similar it is. And because I'm lazy. So let's put this in the for loop. Now, instead of number, let's type in 20 for now, and I'll explain it, kind of. Okay, so this is our for loop. Now, I'll just show you. When we say jet1 equals new jet object, new jet right here, it's doing everything in this function. That means it's going to do the for loop as we want it to. So what we want to do is actually type in our bullets list. And let's just make sure I get this right. Yeah, okay. So what we do is type in bullets. Instead of enemies.length, we want bullets.length. And instead of new enemy, we want new bullet with a capital B. And that should do it. Oh, except we need this dot bullets and this dot bullets length. That's why I love Cloud9. It shows you errors if you ever have any. Okay, so basically what this for loop does, we have a number here, 20. You guys should understand it by now. Basically, we're spawning 20 bullets. We are going to fill up our bullets list right here with 20 new bullets. And basically, this bullets.length is just keeping track of where we are by adding a new item to the end of the list. Alright guys, so that's what we did. It's going to spawn 20 bullets, and to test this out, let's refresh the page and type in jet1 again. And if we hit this, we have an array of bullets with 20 in the array. And you can see they're all in there. Now, I'm going to test this out, and I know it's not going to work right. Yeah. So, as you guys can see, our bullets are increasing along the x-axis, which is perfect. But do you see how we have a line that comes out? That's happening, and actually, see how it stops? That's because we have 20 bullets, and we're reusing the first bullet to the back of the list, basically. So, because, well, you know what I mean, like, we ran out of bullets, so it's going to obviously use the first bullet again to recycle it. Now, that's what that does. Also, guys, do you remember that we created a variable called isShooting? Now, if we come back down to our check shooting function, our variable is shooting. Well, yeah, I'll explain. So our variable is shooting. We need to put in here as well. Let's do two and symbols. And when this dot is shooting equals false. That's what the exclamation mark is for. When this dot is shooting equals false. What it was doing before is that when you hold down the spacebar, in our check key down function, it's saying our spacebar is true. Back up in our check shooting function, as long as spacebar is true, it's going to keep drawing bullets. Now, this could be manipulated so that when you hold down the spacebar, it shoots a bullet every second or so that they're not all in a straight line. But what I want to make it, well, what we're going to do is make it so that every time you hit the spacebar, a new bullet will fire. That's what we want. So to do that, we have to know that once the spacebar has been pushed down, and if it's not already shooting, then we're going to set this dot is shooting equal to true, because we are about to shoot our first bullet. Now, we need an else if down here. Else if, let me see here. Else if this dot is spacebar, is not true. That's what this one is doing again, the exclamation mark. If this dot spacebar is not true, or if it's false, that means the spacebar is not being clicked, which means we should stop shooting, which means this dot is shooting will be set to false. Now, if I save this and I refresh the page, if I hold down the spacebar, it's only going to shoot one bullet. Just like that. I'm holding it down and shooting one bullet. Now, if I tap the spacebar, it's going to shoot 20 bullets. Or however many bullets I hit. Anyways, what I mean... Well, now it's working, guys. So basically, you can just go ahead, go bullet crazy and shoot enemies. They're not going to explode yet because we haven't got into that. Now, what I meant by recycling bullets, I will show you what I meant. I'm going to go up to my for loop, and instead of spawning 20 bullets, I'm going to spawn 5 bullets. Refresh the page. Now, I'm going to shoot 5 bullets, 4 or 5. Now, when the bullets get past this line, they get set over to here somewhere. Now, say I shoot 6 bullets, it's going to start reusing the first bullet and start reusing it automatically because that's the next bullet in our list. So I'm just going to keep firing. You can see they cut off about here somewhere because I'm shooting more than 5 bullets. So it only shows 5 bullets at one time. It won't show any more than 5, but you can see that the maximum is 5 because of how big our bullets list is. Now, one way to prevent this basically is just set it to a nice number. So 25 bullets we're going to have, and if I refresh, I can shoot 25 bullets without them disappearing, and you can see they're going off the canvas fine, which means that 25 is a pretty good number to use, at least at this stage in the game. So yeah, guys, we just set it up. We now have a jet that fires bullets, and it's pretty neat. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, I know this was a long tutorial, sorry about that, but hopefully it pays off for it being so long that we got it all done in one tutorial and I walked through everything. So hopefully you guys can get this working, and if you have any questions, leave a comment or send me a message maybe, and we will see how it goes. So thanks for watching, guys, and the next couple of tutorials we are probably going to get into destroying an enemy with a bullet and showing score on the screen somewhere. So thanks for watching, guys.